Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning British monarch, dead at 96. Queen Elizabeth, a beloved leader who was sentenced to the throne at age 25 in 1952, died Thursday at her Balmoral Castle estate in Scotland. I'll tell you, whether you love the British monarchy or not, I am extremely sad. Let's read on. I thought the world of the Queen. I love the tradition. We'll get into that later. Let's read the article. Queen Elizabeth II, British longest reigning monarch, who served as a beloved face of her country and source of strength for 7 decades, died Thursday at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. She was 96. That was her favorite place, by the way. She didn't really care for Buckingham Palace that much. Elizabeth doctor said early Thursday they were concerned for Her Majesty's health and she is resting comfortably. That's why they didn't bring her to the hospital. They knew. I'm going to give you a brief story. My brush with the royal family. I live in upstate New York in the United States. And in the early 80s, my wife and I were in England, Scotland, and Wales. And one day we were by the Tower of London, by the Thames River, and a big yacht pulled up. I guess they were having mechanical difficulties. And the tour guide that was with us could tell by the flags that was the Queen Mother, the Queen that just passed away's mother. So everybody went down towards the ropes, towards the river, and she was walking along the line of people shaking hands. And when she got to me, I said, "It was very nice to meet you, ma'am." And she goes, "Oh, an American. How nice." And then she moved to the next person. So that is my brush with the royal family. The royal was preceded in death by her husband, who spent more than 7 decades supporting the Queen. They were married for a long time. He died in April 2021 at 99. Elizabeth and Philip were married for more than 70 years. Now, there's some royal family members' children some of us aren't so keen on, but let's look past that at this remarkable woman, I believe remarkable woman, that had the monarchy thrust upon her. And it basically, to tell you the truth, I think ruined her life. She wasn't supposed to be queen when her uncle abdicated and made her father the king, which put her in line of succession. From the small curly-haired girl known to her family as Lilibet, to the gracious, bespectated great-grandmother who favored broad-brim hats to light, bright fashion and sensible shoes, the Queen was always a favorite with her subjects at both home and her many visits to Commonwealth nations around the world. She even picked her own name. Her own name, Elizabeth. She could have chosen something else. So she was Queen Elizabeth II. Her walkabouts, in which she stopped to shake hands and briefly chat with members of the public, seemed to reinforce her one-time comment, "I have to be seen to be believed." But that appearing in public didn't mean Iranians necessarily knew anything about her. The Queen's personal life was never mined by the media in the way that those American presidents tend to be. She loved corky dogs. You see them all the time in the pictures. And all the reports said she enjoyed jigsaw puzzle. And in 2011, there are multiple stories. She ordered an iPad for herself after grandsons Prince William and Prince Harry showed her theirs. And there she is there, the Queen. It's a shame. 96, rest her soul. All in all, not a wealth of personal information about someone who's been a reassuring part of the subject's lives for too long. You have to understand something. If you're part of the British Commonwealth, especially if you were in England, and you're under 70 years old, all you've ever known when you say the Queen, it's like when FDR died. The president met FDR. The Queen means Queen Elizabeth. Their entire life, they've only had one queen. She was born April 21st, 1926, at her maternal grandfather's London home and named Elizabeth Alexandra Mary. The future queen was educated privately at home along with her younger sister, Margaret Rose. Even as a child, she was considered sensible and well-behaved. When her uncle abdicated in 1936 to marry American divorcee Wallace Simpson, who ended up being a Nazi sympathizer, Elizabeth's father became King George VI, and was next in line for the throne. And there she is, just a few days ago. She waits in the drawing room before receiving an audience at Balmoral in Scotland. This is from the 6th. This is just a few days ago. So there she is, still doing her royal duties. Those of you that say, well, she lived a charmed life, you shouldn't feel bad, and you're stuck in a position like that, you can't live a normal life. Now, did she live an extraordinary life being queen? Yes, but you can't be normal with your children, with your family, with your friends. Whereas before, she was just a princess until her uncle abdicated. And even to watch The Crown, even though that's technically based on fact, most of it's fiction, the look on her face the day that her uncle abdicated, knowing she would be next in line for the throne, was a look of horrified terror. There's even a scene in The Crown where she's sitting with her uncle who abdicated having lunch, and she says, "You never apologized to me." He says, "For what?" "I apologized to your father over and over and over." She goes, "No, to me. You didn't think I was deserving of an apology? I just wanted to be an ordinary English countrywoman." She married the person that was the love of her life. She had her children, and that was all taken away from her. So give her a little slack. I feel very badly that at 96, the longest reigning British monarch is gone. I'm concerned for the royal family now, because I'll tell you the truth, honestly, Prince Charles is worthless. I'm sorry, he's worse than worthless. I hope he'll automatically becomes king now. Let's see if there's a coronation. They had a Westminster Abbey, which I was at, which is a magnificent place. That's why I like tradition, old school, stable things that have always been. And unfortunately, occasionally they're filled with people that don't measure up. And Queen Elizabeth certainly measured up. Prince Charles does not. I hope now that he's king, it is king for a few years, he is not coronated, and he allows his son, his oldest son, Princess Diana's son, to become king. We'll have to see what he does. With the outbreak of World War II, Elizabeth and Margaret moved to Balmoral Castle in Scotland and to Windsor. I saw Windsor Castle. It's a pretty cool place. It was weird. As I went around England, the Queen seemed to be everywhere that I went. So the tour guide was jokingly saying, "I think the Queen is following us," and everybody laughed. In a 1940 radio speech to other evacuated children, then 14-year-old Elizabeth showed her plunk, saying, "We know, every one of us, that in the end, all will be well." And this is probably the most important statement she's ever made to the British public. On her 21st birthday, she pledged, "I declare before you with all my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family in which we belong." And that sealed her fate. And it goes on to say that she wed Prince Philip, and there's their picture. That was the man she loved. And others, the other people in the royal family wanted her to marry someone else, and she said no. "I'm going to pick my husband, not you." And it goes on about her coronation. It's funny. And then there was a time the intruder was in the royal palace in the bedroom. She chatted with the intruder until the police came. And this woman's got nerves of steel. And so there it is. When she died, she was mostly traveled British head of state and the longest married British monarch. Now, I know President Trump, when he met with Queen Elizabeth when he went to England and when he was president. Donald Trump's mother is Scottish. She's originally from Scotland. She's an immigrant to the United States. And Donald Trump's mother loved the Queen. And I think supposedly the story goes, can't be confirmed, of course, President Trump got a little choked up and said, I wish my mother was here to meet you. She loved you so much. And he got a little teary-eyed. And so there it is. Part of history. The longest reigning British monarch is dead. God save the Queen. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.